All right.
So thank you for joining us for the last session of the day on engineering and manufacturing career fields. We have Steve Holland and actually Clint Chapman and maybe some more people. I'm not sure if Steve brought anyone else to be part of this discussion on Yasakawa Academy. They have a Motoman, several Motoman industry recognized credentials, and many of them are brand new to our industry recognized credential list. I think they were added this year, and Steve's going to tell you a little bit more about that. Just to give you a little bit of background on Steve, he was in the U.S. Navy and became a naval instructor, and he's been with Motoman since December of 1999, and he's now a senior manager in technical training, and he oversees all of the Americas and has multiple years of teaching experience. And with this said, I'm now going to toss it over to Steve and let him start talking and sharing his screen.
Okay.
Thanks, Steve.
Well, thank you. Uh-oh.
It was like one of those days where they had this big online conference about jobs.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, no. Still nothing?
Still nothing.
Uh-oh. I apologize for everybody.
That's okay.
It
There
keeps
it
coming.
goes.
Oh,
Wait a minute. All right, I think we got something up here, Steve. There we are.
okay. I apologize for that. All right. Again, my name is Steve Holland, and I am in charge of Yasakawa Academy, all of the Americas. So that's the United States, Canada, Mexico, and Brazil. And headquarters is located here in Miamisburg, Ohio. And we have multiple positions. So I just looked online, and this is our website, www.motoman.com, and just look for careers. And there are currently 18 positions that are open, stemming from automation technicians to field service. And I'm also looking for a robotics instructor as well. So there's a whole array of various jobs that we offer. And if you've never visited our facility, again, we're located in Miamisburg, Ohio, and we moved here in 2011 with 300,000 square feet. And right now we are adding an additional 200,000 square feet. So we are growing leaps and bounds. So overall, like I said, I'm in charge of all the Americas. So this gives you the ability on the right-hand side, 7 facilities, 136 robots dedicated to training, one full-time training coordinator, which is located here at headquarters, 6 part-time training coordinators, 12 full-time robotics instructors, and 9 part-time, with 17 classrooms all in all. And the whole idea is very simple. We have global products, global customers, and they overlap with the same needs. And therefore, the whole idea is to restructure and unify all the training facilities. So I tried to do that with the Americas, and then it stemmed out. So in 2016, the different training facilities called themselves something different. And in 2016, we started the unification to call ourselves Yasakawa Academy. So that stemmed out across the globe. And now we have 25 countries across the globe that are on board. So there's 31 training facilities that have now been identified as Yasakawa Academy. So going back to Miamisburg, the main focus of this is just Miamisburg, but I wanted to kind of give you an overview of how big the training facility really is and the communications between the various training facilities throughout the globe. So we interchange curriculum depending on the needs. So this is a dashboard. So if you were to visit our facility in Miamisburg, Ohio, the two dashboards that I captured is one for the Yasakawa Academy. And so we have a 12-month rolling metrics. So currently we're at 1592 in regards to student enrollment. We've delivered 222 classes. 5, you really can't see the fine print that well, but 5 merit facilities that are holding classes. And I'll talk more about the merit classes here in a little bit. The ratio, student to instructor ratio is 7.2. The reason for that is because we're recovering from COVID, and the numbers are now increasing. We have 9 dedicated classrooms with 78 dedicated robots here at headquarters. And one of the things that we kind of pride ourselves on is the class survey results. So upon completion of each of the classes, we ask all of our students to fill out an 18-question survey. 9 questions is focused on the class itself. The other 9 is focused on the instructor. And overall, what that means is it boils down to a single number. And those single numbers for what we call class packages, those numbers are then used as a metric towards that instructor. And then all of the averages for the instructors rolls up into a training department number, and that number is a 4.96 on a scale from 0 to 5, 5 being the highest. So I gave you some snapshots of what the classrooms look like coming into Yasakawa Academy. We have a student lounge, and then bottom left-hand corner is, you'll see something unique about this classroom in that it is used for MotoSim. MotoSim is Motorman Simulator, and basically what it amounts to is programming using a computer, and that's what you see. Compared to the bottom right-hand corner, where as you walk into the classroom, what you'll notice is a few things. Is one, the blue things that are on the desk, those are the industrial robots. So the maximum capacity of each of my classrooms is 12 students to 6 robots. And the instructor is going to be standing up there on what we call the podium. And you'll see a big screen, and that screen is, think of it as an 86-inch touch screen that allows us to install various things. And so there are no projections. That's a display with a touch screen. Again, I captured some more shots. So top left-hand corner is our HC10 collaborative robot classroom. And then other photos of the classrooms as well. So again, I have overall 78 robots that are in the training department. Now, one of the things I do want to kind of point out to you is if you look at the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see styrofoam that's on the desk. And we actually use that styrofoam for all of our students as they're programming. And what you can't see is, I call them battle wounds, but there are evidence that the robots have crashed into those styrofoam pieces. Now, we do it on purpose just to make sure that we protect our robots, of course, but at the same time, if you're working with robots, the question is not going to be, am I ever going to crash one? The answer is going to be yes. It's just a matter of when are you going to do it. So often as we're teaching our classes, we emphasize how to program safely, but occasionally we do experience a crash in the classroom. Now, when that occurs, we ask that individual to kind of stop, as well as all of the students, to kind of focus on what just happened. And we use it as a lessons learned to prevent that from happening in the future on a real live robot. So what happens next is that was a classroom, and so a majority of our students that come in here, I would say approximately 85% are focused on welding. So this last photo is what I call the main lab. And the main lab is real live robots that have the ability to arc and spark. So top left-hand corner and bottom left-hand side are the arc welding robots. Now, what we haven't discovered how to do yet is weld on styrofoam. So we are now forced to give you metal. So by doing that, we kind of emphasize over and over. So we practice in the classroom, and then we take that program into our main lab, and we introduce it to the robots, and to the point where we are verifying the robot's path, as well as actually striking an arc. On the top right-hand side are the lineup of robots that we use for maintenance. So you'll actually see the covers are removed from the maintenance robots. And what you don't see is we've removed all grease from the robots as well. So just to prevent any hazards, as well as a big mess out there. So what we do encourage everyone to do is disassemble the robot to whatever level that you'd like. But also at the same time, it's up to that group, that team, to reassemble and that entire robot back to a working condition. So we step through each of the steps to include calibration of the motors. And then bottom right-hand side is a new addition to the main lab. That new addition is multiple robots controlled by a single pendant. So one of the things that we have the ability to do, or we've done in the past, so if you kind of look at the top left-hand side, you'll notice that there's a fixture at the very top. There's a fixture right here, and that fixture allows us to take two robots, combine them together, and we have a headstock and a tailstock. We bring this fixture down, and that fixture is basically representing or a mock-up version of an ArcWeld 6200. Now, to kind of give you an idea in regards to the power of the student surveys, is the bottom left-hand corner, or I'm sorry, bottom right-hand corner, is the results of the student surveys. So the student surveys were asking, could we possibly have an actual ArcWeld 6200 located in the training facility, and after many, many years, it finally got approved. So you're looking at $175,000 sitting here that we do also use as training. Okay. Yasakawa Academy was the first robotics company to join in the IACAT accreditation in 1992. So it's just a snapshot of our accreditation. And what that amounts to is we go through a rigorous evaluation and audit to ensure that we are in compliance with the policies in relationship to training and education. And what that allows us to do once we're completed with the curriculum is also teach it, and then award each of the students that pass the curriculum CEUs, continuing education units. Now, getting into the Yasakawa Academy certification, there are 3 levels of certification. And this is kind of an overview, if you would. So it really depends on at what level do you want to be at. So think of it as stepping onto an elevator and asking yourself, which floor do I want to be on? So the ground floor is any facility can come to my training facility here and attend a training class. And they don't have to have any sort of certification. And some of the schools, they actually come in and they said, you know, I can create my own curriculum, and they go back and they do that. Where some say, you know, I don't have time to do this, but I really, at the end of the class, I would like to have some sort of a piece of paper with the word Yasakawa Academy on it, and at various levels, and be able to offer these to the students. And that's what this is about. These are the educational programs that were created by Yasakawa. And the certification, so the first level here is Train the Trainer program. And it's designed for instructors from K to 12 students, career tech colleges and undergrads. It provides the ability of schools to develop a student-based robotic certification course with a focus on robotic skills, or expand their existing mechatronics robotic programs. Now, what that means in short is the instructor would come through the program, and my next slide will show you the details of it. But the instructor would come in, and it consists of 3 phases. And those 3 phases allows that individual to then in turn teach. So it gives them the credentials to teach, and hopefully the confidence that they know what they're talking about as they're basically assisting us with distributing the information to the younger generation. So I'm going to jump over the modified merit for just a moment and talk to you about the merit program. So the merit program is designed for instructors of educational institutes and to support workforce development certification with the industry. And essentially what this is creating a satellite remote training facility. And my target usually is universities, colleges, and tech career colleges, where not only do they teach students, but they teach undergrads or local manufacturers in that area. So the reason why I work backwards is because the modified merit program is in between. It is for train the trainer programs for instructors that are looking to focus on that program, but eventually they want to be on the merit program. So initially, what I would recommend for them to do is purchase the modified merit, and that will basically save them some funding as well, and get them up and running as quickly as possible. Okay. So all 3 programs is designed for one purpose, and the motto is creating engineers of tomorrow today. So when this was created, these educational programs were created, the merit program was created first. And again, the target or the focus was to basically allow colleges and universities to teach robotics as if the students were sitting in their classroom. So the merit is an acronym. It stands for Motorman Endorsed Robotic Instructor Training, right up here. And it consists of 5 different phases. And these phases, and I'm going to provide PDFs so you can actually look at these more in detail and zoom in, print them off at your leisure. But the merit program in itself comprises of 5 different levels or phases, as I call them. So phase 1 is attend as a student. Phase 2, attend as an observer. An observer is basically there to observe how the instructor is delivering, going from chapter 1 to chapter 2, the exercises that they're being executed, and how they're being executed. But the most important piece of this is listening to the students as they're asking questions. And hopefully that instructor is able to kind of summarize and create a solution themselves, and then they will hear it from the delivering instructor that's teaching the class. Hopefully everything is in line. So phase 3 is to have that individual come in and be audited. So it's a one-on-one session. This is an audit for that instructor just to kind of teach the class. And I'll have a certified instructor in there just to verify that all of the topics are being covered and all the topics are being covered correctly and complete. And then we structure them for phase 4. Phase 4 is for them to deliver in front of a live audience with a certified instructor with them. Okay, so that was again focused on the universities and colleges and career tech colleges. And then the high schools came in and asked, what about a program for us? And again, this is where the Train the Trainer program came into play. So Train the Trainer is on an accelerated pace, and it requires 3 phases versus 5 phases. So the 3 phases is phase 1, you would be sent an e-learning module. And so you take that e-learning module at your convenience. And then once you are completed, we can monitor you from headquarters here. And so once you're completed with that, we ask that you sign up for a instructor-led class. That's phase 2. That instructor-led class is going to hopefully re-emphasize what you just learned on the e-learning module. And so the whole idea is to basically get accustomed and be familiar with all the terms that we use in the classroom. And then phase 3 is a workshop environment. So the workshop environment is we collect all of the instructors together that are in the Train the Trainer program, and we ask them to target or focus on a specific date. And when we hold these classes, so as an example, if we have 6 students that are attending, we ask everybody to make sure that they practice. And the reason being is because you're going to have an opportunity to teach the other instructors as well as my certified instructor. So if there are 6 students that are in that class, and this is only designed for instructors, so everybody there from various schools, various career centers, various colleges, and each one of them are asked to make sure that they practice and be familiar with the chapters. So when the class convenes, my certified instructor will then assign which chapters that you specifically would be delivering. So it all depends on how many students that are attending. So if there are 6, so every 6th chapter, you'd be responsible for basically delivering and broadcasting. And then the modified merit, again, is just the bridge between Train the Trainer program versus the merit program. So this is very similar, but the only thing that's really different is phase 3 of the modified merit is going to be in line with the merit program. So if you were to take all 3 of these programs and sit them side by side, the modified merit program is basically an extension of the merit program. So modified merit is 3 phases, where merit program is 5 phases. And as a tool, this is something that we also offer as online learning management system. So LMS, we currently use Absorb. And what that means is this gives you the ability as an instructor to monitor your students. So if you were to purchase this package, what would happen is we would send out an email to you, and you are the administrator. You have the opportunity to now assign your students to come on board the learning management system. And so they're actually going through the e-learning modules that you just went through. And on completion, they would also get a certificate. So the next question may be, what type of robots or equipment are we required to have? Now, unfortunately, in order for you to teach robots, you're going to have some sort of
robots that are there, either they're old robots or the latest and greatest. And here's just an example. We have Method Tools that are located right here in Dayton, Ohio, and they are a EDU distributor, and this is their website. So this is kind of giving an example of what we call a stem cart, and the stem cart itself folds down. So these sides fold up, these flaps, if you will, on the table folds down. It allows the actual cart to go through a standard door. And it doesn't use anything special. Everything is all on board. Your car requires 110 power. There's an air compressor. You can't see it, but there's an air compressor on board as well. And looking from a top view, looking down, you see various templates. So with this cart, we also included the YRC 1000 operators class curriculum. So that's free if the STEM cart is actually purchased. So that curriculum is a 2-day operators class that includes outlines, objectives, quizzes, and the final exam, and a certificate. Now, one of the popular questions that I'm asked is, do we necessarily have to purchase robots? And the answer is no. So as an alternative, we have what we call the MotoSim Touch. And MotoSim is Motoman Simulator. So essentially, this is what you would get in the package, and you would then have it communicate to a computer with a display, and what you're really doing is controlling the robot that's on the screen. And this programming pendant is identical to the real world. So to kind of give you an idea, you can actually disconnect this programming pendant and connect it to the real robot, and it would understand what that is. What we're doing is we're taking an extra step, and we're controlling a simulated robot on a computer screen. Now, this is one of the possibilities, as it's an a la carte scenario. So depending on what you're looking for in regards to robots, you can do any combination. And then some of the schools that are out there, they're kind of using the juggling game. So they'll purchase one real live cell, and they'll purchase multiple MotoSim touches. And what they'll do is play musical chairs with the student, just so that everybody has the opportunity to jog and reinforces whatever they learned on the simulation world, that it is actually something that's realistic in the real world. And it also gives them the opportunity to take programs that were created on the MotoSim side and move those programs to the live robot. Okay, so there's different variations. And one that just came up recently is, with all the classrooms that I have here, and this is at a very high level, one of the questions that I was asked is whether or not I have a part number from any one of my classrooms. And I said, wow, that's something that I've never been asked before. So we're in the process of putting something together at the moment to include the smart board, the desks, the robots, the tooling, to replicate the exact same classroom that I have here at Yasakawa Academy. So these are the EDU programs, and the icons that I showed here, these are all the Merit facilities, and this is across the United States. So again, Merit stands for Motoman Endorsed Robotic Instructor Training. And again, what that means is any one of our customers can go to their facility as if they're coming to my facility here in Dayton, Ohio. It gives them the ability to hopefully reduce down on travel cost and time away from their families. So if they can locate a training facility that's closer to them, everything at these facilities will be replicated as if you were attending a class here in Dayton, Ohio. Now, the drawback from this is, unfortunately, each one of these Merit facilities cannot accommodate all of the classes that we can accommodate here. So again, we offer 75 different classes here at headquarters. And if you were to ask, what are each one of these capable of doing? ARTP, which is this one located in Alabama, they have the ability to teach DX100 as well as YRC 1000. Motlow State Community College, located in Tennessee, they have the ability to teach DX200 basic programming as well as YRC 1000 basic programming. RAC, which is Reading Area Community College, located in Pennsylvania, they are capable of teaching FS100 basic programming with material handling. University of Memphis, YRC 1000 basic programming with material handling. Southwest Tennessee Community College, located in Tennessee, they're capable of YRC 1000 maintenance. Northwest Mississippi Community College, located in Mississippi, they will be capable. They're on board at the moment, and they will, once they are complete, they will have the ability to deliver YRC 1000 basic with material handling. Butler Tech, this is a local facility here, located here in Ohio. So they are targeting YRC 1000 basic programming with material handling. In Laterno, located in Texas, they're targeting YRC 1000 basic programming with material handling. And somewhere in the future, they will add arc welding to that as well. So these are the 6 top hitters on the merit side. But the trainer, to kind of give you an idea, there are over 140 trainer programs that are out there, or schools that are on that program. And I selected the ones that are here in Ohio. So this kind of gives you an idea as to who's using it. There are many others as well, but I haven't heard from them in quite some time, so I don't know if they're active or inactive. They've not requested anything for quite some time. But these are the ones that are currently active. So what that means is, what we did was we took, out of the 75 different courses, we then targeted a specific amount of classes for the State of Ohio Board of Education. And so going to their website, this had to be planned out a year in advance, and the new credentials are now just coming into play. And so this is a kind of a snapshot of their website. So we focused on the latest and greatest, which is the YRC 1000, and we worked backwards. So we have YRC 1000, and so when you look at the big picture as far as the various classes that we offer, there are different levels. So to kind of give you an idea, level 1 would be a 2-day operators class. Level 2 would be a 4-day YRC 1000 basic programming class. Level 3 is a 4.5-day YRC 1000 advanced class. And the last one is a 4-day YRC 1000 maintenance class. So we focus on the YRC 1000, and then we work backwards through time. So the next one, working backwards, would be DX200, and then it would be DX100, FS100, and the NX. And currently, right now, all of these are linked directly to my website, and I'm going to change that to have them linked directly to outlines to kind of give our audience, what does each one of these classes focuses on. And that's something that I will provide to this group as well, is the outline, so you can kind of look at them yourself and hopefully share them with others and come up with questions that you may have. This last picture is simply, if you are trying to attend training classes, how would you do that? It's just simply by going to our Motorman webpage under service and training. and click on the respective training class that you're looking for. Or you can just give me a call and I can assist you with that as well. Now at the very bottom here, I put this on all of my notes, and the note simply means that all of our classes currently are using the standard programming independent. So there is a new programming independent that we launched, and that's called the Smart Pendant, and we are in the process of creating a YRC 1000 basic programming using a Smart Pendant. So we're in the process of updating all of that data, and then we will launch that the first community date here shortly. And the last is questions. So in the event that you do have questions, if you don't have questions today, that's okay. You can certainly utilize the training@motomen.com. That goes to my senior staff as well as myself, and we'll address your questions that way. Or you can contact me directly, and towards the bottom is my direct phone number as well as my direct email address.
Steve, we have Steve, thank you. We have a question in the chat from Christina that says if she has a student who is about to graduate, could they enroll independently in your program? Number one. And then second part of her question says, with that, do you offer accommodations for individuals with autism?
So one of the things that we do, we can accommodate to a certain degree. It just depends on how much is required. So I'm going back to some of the programs. So each of the classrooms is going to look like this. And so to answer the question, can anybody attend the class? The answer is yes. And what I do is, if they're not associated to a company, I please contact me directly, and I can offer you a special discount, realizing that the funds are going to be coming out of your pocket. So, so I'll work with you on that funding. So the second part is, if you need any additional assistance, I will need to know ahead of time. Now, keep in mind that we may have to do something special because each of the classrooms are designed for up to a maximum of 12 students. And these 12 students are coming from the industry side, trying to get as much information as possible. So we will assist as much as possible, but there's a certain degree that the instructor has to accomplish at the end of each day, and we can't delay that from happening. Otherwise, I'm going to have 11 angry customers that are going to say we didn't make it through class. So I would need to have a one-on-one with that individual to see how much time, and I can certainly assign an instructor to accompany them and assist them. But at the end of each day, the delivering instructor has to accomplish the first 8 chapters, etc., without delay. That ensures that the class will successfully complete at the end of the week. So our classes run from 2 days up to 5 days, and then everybody goes home. So this is headquarters to the Americas. So I do have customers that are coming from all over the United States, as well as international travel. So our goal is to make sure that we deliver what we say that we're going to deliver, and then have them out the door in the time in which they're required for them to travel back. In the past, we've actually had individuals that have come to me requesting for an instructor to read the quizzes and final exams to them. We've done that. We've had students that request assistance in helping them see, because as they're programming, they will always ask, okay, so where is this located? So we try to accommodate as much as possible, but you know, again, we're going to do this on a case-by-case basis.
Eve,
Hopefully
can
that-
you talk a little bit about how this would look? So the instructors, so if it was a career tech center, the instructors like the engineering or the advanced manufacturing instructors would come and do a train the trainer program or something, one of the three areas. And then they would then be certified to go back to their career tech programs and offer the industry recognized credential to the students if they completed that piece of it, say the 100 courses for the 6 points?
Correct. So the train the trainer program is to focus on so I'm going to select out of the three. Normally, the most popular one to focus on is the train the trainer program. So this consists of 3 phases. So this quickly gets them in and out the door, depending on what their target dates are. Now, one of the things that I've been asked before is how long do each of these programs take? And that's a very difficult question for me to answer. And the reason being is because it really depends on the instructor themselves. If they've been exposed to automation, they can quickly come on board. But if they're not, if they've not been exposed, it'll take them a little bit longer to get to where they need to be. And so one of the things that I always tell the instructors is you're going to have confidence. And so you're going to have to kind of revisit all the chapters before you deliver. So phase 1 is deliver or coming in as a student. So you're going to be attending the student or as a student, and you can ask the questions of the instructor. No, I take that back. Train the trainer phase 1 is the e-learning module. So that's at self-pace. So you're going to be now getting familiar with the terms that we use. And so this is a slower version of the actual class itself. And so it's going to take you step by step, chapter by chapter. And then phase 2 is coming in as a student and attending as a student, and hopefully the terms that we use in the classroom is going to be the second time or maybe the third time you've heard those terms. And so if you didn't quite understand what that term meant in the e-learning module, now you can ask an instructor to explain it to you more in depth. And then phase 3 is attending in a workshop environment. So one of the things that we require that instructor to do is teach. So I'm not going to be confident that you understand the topics unless you actually teach me. And then we can kind of do an assessment from there. But once you completed that, then yes, you can go back and teach others. We'll give you the certificate that gives you the ability to teach your students. And so some of the classes that are out there, they say, well, in regards to robotics, depending on the class that I focus on, I'm going to kind of use an example. YRC 1000 basic programming class is a 26 contact hours. And so what that means in short is if you are looking for a robotics curriculum and you only have 2 to 3 hours to insert in your existing program, we can kind of advise you as to what topics to extract from ours and insert into yours. So you're actually creating a customized robotics class. So you may be taking multiple vendors and combining it into one single class. So you only have a certain amount of time to talk about Yasakawa as opposed to the other ones. But it'll all vary.
And then what would, for a student to earn that credential, that 6 points, what would the student act like, the high school student or the career tech student actually have to then, is there a test that they have to take, or is it just showing competency on using the simulate, whether it's the Moto Sim Touch or the robot carts. Can you just touch on that briefly?
Sure. So once a instructor is then certified to teach, then they get to dictate what they're doing at their training facility. So, or high school or career center. And so by them creating that environment, as long as it's in line with what we do, they would receive the credentials. So each of our classes, we offer quizzes and a final exam. And so everybody would have to go through that process. And upon completion, they would receive the credit.
Thank you. I know you touched a little bit on accommodations and as well as, I'm assuming since it's across the Americas that there would be some content for English language learners that may not speak English as their first language to be able to access this curriculum as well.
Yes, and so it's going to be, again, case by case basis, because out of the 31 training facilities across the globe, what we've discovered is we are the flagship. So what that means is if I have the curriculum here, I'm going to disperse it to the other facilities and they're going to translate it to their native languages. However, they may not have the resources that I have here, so they may not have e-learning modules. But what they'll have is the training manuals themselves. And so now it's going to really depend on which language you're looking for. And unfortunately, all my instructors, include myself, we only speak English. So we would have to use Google Translate to figure out, what is this saying? But we can kind of, if we know what the topic is, we can say it in English and have Google Translate into whatever language that they're looking for.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for Steve? I don't see any other questions here, Steve. What I know you'll do is provide some more information to us so that I can get that posted on the Google website. I also have posted for those people that are attending, if you want to, excuse me, if you want a certificate, here is the link to get your certificate for attending this session, as well as any feedback that you want to provide to us on this session or any other session that was provided throughout the day. Excuse me. I thank you, Steve, for giving us some more information about Yasakawa and the Moto Man credentials that are listed on the industry recognized credentials for the Department of Education and Workforce.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the opportunity. And as a closing note, I would like to invite everybody to come to our facility and take a tour of our facility, as well as spend an hour with me programming. So if you've never programmed a robot before, I can take you into a classroom and I can program with you. So depending on how many people, we may have to break it up into multiple sessions within different time zones or different weeks, just to accommodate everybody. So I may not be able to accommodate everybody all at once, depending on how many people are interested. So.
All right, great. Thank you so much for that offer and for all the information you provided today.
You're very welcome. Anytime.
Thank you. All right, and for those of you attending, just please fill out that certificate and the feedback. And like I said, everything will be posted on the Career Planning for Graduation and Beyond Google website. All right.
Very cool to learn.
Yeah,
Very.
thank you.
And I think we should all go down there, Stacia.
Yeah, I know.
A field trip.
Yes, yeah, and it's wonderful because, so one of the things, if you've never been here, we do have what we call a demo lab. And that demo lab is basically turnkey systems that you walk in and you're like, wow, I didn't know robots could do that. And so when I have tours come through, and this was before the new generation came, so I would have, kids come through and I said, this is the land of Oz, where the land of Oz means it's open to whatever you want to do. And then I discovered some of the kids saying, the land of Oz, what's that? And I said, the land of Oz is in the Wizard of Oz? What's that? I said, oh no. And I said,
Yep.
because you're stealing my thunder, because I was going to tell you that I'm the wizard and I'm going to show you how to do all this. And they couldn't make an association. And I said, oh, you stole my thunder. So then I said, okay, so we're going to talk about this, each one of these manually, and then I'm going to take you to a classroom and show you how to program. And it is very rewarding to me to see that the light bulbs come on and say, wow, this is really easy. I said,
Sure.
yeah, it is. And to kind of give you an idea how easy it really is, I'm actually the one that created the educational programs for Yasakawa. And I tested it on my 4-year-old son. So he is now 13 and he can program with me. And so as I was doing it, I was like, okay, so let me see what you can do. Ask me questions. And he was asking me all these questions. And I said, wow, you know what? I think that if I'm successful with you, I can be successful for any of the kids. And it has boomed. This was created in 2006 timeframe, and it keeps growing. And so now I travel across the Americas as well as international to basically show them what to do, since we are the flagship. So Honda, for example, came to me several years ago and asked me the question, Steve, we need to tap into your